Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to a new video. Yes, can you believe it? I'm actually doing another video here on StreamYards. Anyway, today's subject of the video that I'm doing today is very simple. It is my predictions for the 2025 New Japan Cup. Interesting bracket this year. Some questionable people getting the first round buys, but I'm ready this year to predict the New Japan Cup here in 2025. It's my predictions for most of these tournaments that will be happening in 2025 for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I might even make some predictions for other companies as well. I know I'll make a WrestleMania predictions video too. I do plan on doing also some MLB predictions and other things as well on here. Well, let's take things off the New Japan Cup because the New Japan Cup will be coming up next Friday on March the 7th. And so, how I'm going to do these predictions is bracket by bracket. So, I'll do this one here first, top left, then bottom left, top right, and bottom right, then I'll do the semis and then the finals. I already have done a bracket once before, but this was off camera. I did with all coin flips, and the winner of the tournament was Jeff Cobb, and the finalist runner-up was Yuya Uemura. This time I'm going to do by my own analytics and who I think will win this year. Anyway, let's start with the first matchup here on March the 7th, as it will be the winner from last year's New Japan Cup and current global heavyweight champion Yota Tsuji taking on the House Torture leader Evil. My opinion, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because it sets up a very super interesting set round match with David Finlay. But in my opinion, if you want to increase the story of what's been going on since the new beginning, I'm going to pick Evil to move on to the second round to face David Finlay over Yota Tsuji. Yes, it might be very controversial to have Yota Tsuji be out in the first round, showing that he's one of the best guys in the company. But in my eyes, I feel they're going to continue that story with what's been going on between House Torture and the War Dogs. And the other round matchup here, first round match, will be Yuya Uemura, the returning Yuya Uemura from injury, as he'll face the Bullet Club War Dogs Sanada. This run's pretty easy for me. I'm picking Yuya Uemura because I have heard a feeling about Yuya Uemura this year. I think he's going to go on a decent little run through the cup. And Sonata doesn't really need to do much in this cup. He's more so just trying to get through this cup so that he can have his big rivalry rematch with Taichi, which we'll talk about here soon. So that means second round matches. We'll have Evil versus David Finlay. Like I said, very interesting matchup. The reason why I had this is due to storyline reasons. What happened at the new beginning is that Evil returned from a hiatus from losing to Tanahashi in a Lumberjack death match back in WrestleMania 19. And while that was happening, Finley's Bullet Club was still running and everything like that. Then Evil returns after the double countout between Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd. He would tap both men, and after that, he would take to the microphone and say that the War Dogs are all now out, outcasted from the Bullet Club. So now this is a big rivalry between Finlay and Evil, and that War Dogs versus House Torture. And in my opinion, it will be David Finlay that will come away with the victory, moving on to the quarterfinals due to help from the War Dogs stopping the House Torture's interference in the second round. And then the other second round matchup here for this side of the bracket, Yuya Uemura versus Yoshihashi. Another easy one for Yuya Uemura. Yoshihashi isn't really much of a big singles guy. He's never won a singles title in his whole career before. He's not close, but he's never even come close to a singles championship or singles contention. And so this is an easy one for Yuya Uemura as we move on to the quarters to face David Finlay. This is a very fun. I think it would be a very fun quarterfinal matchup between David Finlay and Yuya Uemura. Both men are skilled. Both men know what they're doing in the ring. Both men had a match at the G1 Climax last year, which was won by David Finlay, and I think the same thing's going to happen this year around with David Finlay scoring the victory in the quarters against Yuya Uemura, and what will be a good matchup. But Finlay will move on to the semifinals and win this top side of the bracket. All right, move on to the bottom left side here as Team DK's Yohei Oiwa will take on Chase Owens in round number 1. Again, this is one of those easy ones to predict. With Yohei Oiwa winning, he came back from a sturgeon earlier in 2024 in October, and he's been a decent force since coming back from Pro Wrestling Noah. and he almost became the IWGP World Television Champion at WrestleMania 19. But he's been very focused on trying to win some big matches, and I think this will be a decent little tournament for Yuya Uemura as he'll face Team Decay leader Zack Sabre Jr. in round number 2. And the final match, round number 1, over on the left side is, or bottom left side, is Gabe Kidd versus Ren Narita. Another one of those big War Dogs versus House Torture matchups. I have Gabe Kidd winning because, in my opinion, I think Gabe's going to have a great run here in the New Japan Cup. With his popularity soaring and with his merch sales being so high and everything like that, Gabe Kidd's going to beat Ren Narita. These two have faced before many times, but like I said, Gabe's going to take this one here tonight in the first round of the New Japan Cup to set up a match with Taichi. All right, second round matchups here. Or something about Gabe and Narita I didn't talk about was I think the War Dogs will help Gabe defeat Narita and stop the House Torture from interfering. Anyway, second round matchups here in the bottom left side of the bracket. Yohei Oiwa versus Zack Sabre Jr. Team Decay versus Team Decay here. Former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. He lost that to Hiroki Goto and the new beginning in Osaka. That's why Goto is not in this bracket. He usually would be, but because he's IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, he is not in this bracket. But Oiwa versus Zack Sabre Jr. is actually a hard match to predict because, again, Yuya Uemura, he hasn't had that humongous, huge victory yet from coming back from Sturgeon from Noah. And Zack Sabre Jr. is, of course, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world today. So, again, I kind of flip-flopped on who to pick for the win here between Oiwa and Sabre. But I think it's going to be Yohei Oiwa that finally gets a huge victory in his career, beats Zack Sabre Jr., moves on to the quarters. In the other round matchups, Gabe Kidd versus Taichi. Again, this is going to be an easy Gabe Kidd victory. Again, Taichi, I find, with Sonata is going to bow out early because of their rivalry, and I think both men are going to cost each other a big matchup against the other. Like, I can see Taichi screwing over Sonata in his matchup with Uemura, and then I will see Sonata repaying the favor and taking out Taichi in his matchup in the second round against Gabe Kidd. So Gabe Kidd move on to the quarters, and a very interesting rematch between Yuya Uemura. Yuya Uemura and Gabe fought on the last New Japan Strong event, not in 2025, but in 2024. A victory by Gabe Kidd, but he got help from Clark Connors, and that's why he beat Yuya Uemura. This time around, I do have Gabe Kidd once again beating Yuya Uemura and moving on to the semifinals to face his friend David Finlay, leader of the War Dogs. But I think Yuya Uemura and Gabe Kidd still be another matchup. Gabe won it clean this time with a victory over Uemura, but it will be a great match. I'll talk about the semis after I'm done this side here, the right side. We'll start with the top right here. El Phantasmo versus Grail Khan. El Phantasmo, of course, IWGP television champion, won that in WrestleMania 19 after he came back from testicular cancer. And he is facing the last ever KOPW champion, Grail Khan. This, in my opinion, could be a dark horse match of the cup here. And just the first round alone, I think this could be a dark horse match of the cup here for match of the cup. But in my opinion, I have El Phantasmo moving on to the second round, beating Great Okan to face his friend Shota Umino. Shota Umino and El Phantasmo had a friendship before. El Phantasmo had to pull out New Japan due to his testicular cancer. This time he will face Shota Umino, who is trying to reinvent himself. He lost Rail Khan back in the beginning, and after his loss, he would shave his head. So again, Shota is reinventing himself, but with that, I have El Phantasmo moving on to the quarter finals here, the side of the bracket. It'll be a great match, but I just think with how much El Phantasmo has done very well of recently, I see him moving on to the quarterfinals, especially being champ. All right, and this side here of the top right, it is Tatsuya Naito, one half the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, taking on Cal Newman. Cal Newman coming back from injury. This is his first match from his knee injury he suffered during World Tag League. He will be facing Tatsuya Naito. Now, Naito usually owns this matchup against Cal Newman, and I can see the match going both ways, but again, this is Tatsuya Naito we're talking about here, so I'm going to pick Naito over Cal Newman. And in the other second round matchup here between Naito and Jeff Cobb, super interesting matchup. But I'm going with the upset. I'm going Jeff Cobb the victory and round number 2 against Tatsuya Naito. Huge match again. It gives Jeff Cobb revenge for his loss in 2022 in the quarters against Naito. And so with that, it sets up a rematch again between El Phantasmo and Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb and Phantasmo have been battling over the IWGP Television Championship since WrestleMania 19. This time they'll just have a regular match against each other in the New Japan Cup quarterfinals. This time it'll be revenge for Jeff Cobb again over El Phantasmo. El Phantasmo's won the last 2 against Cobb, but I think with Cobb, I think he'll finally get his win over El Phantasmo and move on to the semifinals and winning this side of the bracket. Bottom right side of the bracket here, it's Tomohiro Ishii versus Drew Maloney. This, again, could be one of those first-round matches that could steal the whole cup in a match. These two are hard-hitting. These two are great competitors. But Drew Maloney is my pick to move on to round number 2. Maloney has been red hot since moving to the heavyweight division, defeating Shingo Takagi back at the new beginning. And he's had a great February, and I can see that continuing on here into the March. And the other first round matchup here, Bolton Oway, Bad Luck Fale. Fale, again, like Chase Owens, is just there just for fun, but I got Bolton Oway. Moving on to round number 2. Oway could be another one of those dark horse people that make a giant run that's out of nowhere. And we'll go on to the second round here, this side of the bracket. Drew Maloney versus TJP. TJP and Maloney have fought many times before during the junior heavyweight war between Clark Maloney and Sketch 2-2. And again, I got Maloney moving on to the quarterfinals. TJP is a good wrestler. I just don't see why he would win a match like this against Maloney, especially with how red hot Maloney has been the past month. The other second round matchup is a match that I can say could be match of the cup. Bolton Oway versus Shingo Takagi. Now, Oway had a great match with Konosuke Takeshita back in the new beginning in Osaka, despite a loss to Konosuke Takeshita. It was a great matchup. He put up a great effort. It's not enough to win the Never Openweight title. Of course, Shingo Takagi's had a hell of a career so far. And again, I'm going with an upset victory here in round number 2. I'm saying Bolton Oway beats Shingo Takagi and move on to the quarterfinals. Again, it could go either way, but I think it would be cooler to see Bolton Oway get a huge win over Shingo Takagi. And in the quarterfinals here, in the finals of this side of the bracket, Maloney versus Oway. Another one of those who to pick matches. Both men are hot. Both men are very good in the ring. Both men are strong. Good speed, both. But to me, I'm going to pick Bolton Oway. I find Bolton Oway with him, he's not as aggressive as Maloney, and I feel like in that type of a matchup, especially with the spotlight on Maloney like this in the quarterfinals of the Japan Cup, I feel like that aggression could cost him the match against Bolton Oway, and I think Bolton Oway, especially being taught by people like Tanahashi and Toriano, I think that aggression of Maloney is going to be the better of him in the matchup against Oway, and Oway will move on to the semis. Now we have the semis. So we got War Dog versus War Dog here in this semifinal matchup here. David Finlay versus Gabe Kidd. Should be an amazing fight between these two men. Gabe and Finlay had a great 2024. Finlay, of course, was the global heavyweight champion, lost it at WrestleMania 19 to Yota Tsuji. Gabe Kidd's been great as New Japan Strong World Heavyweight Champion. Again, these two will put up a great fight in the semis, but I have David Finlay beating Gabe, and what should be a good matchup. Both men will put it all on the line, but David Finlay will go to the finals in the Japan Cup this year. And in the other round, semis, it's going to be Jeff Cobb and Bolton Oway, another one of those tough ones that'd be good. These two have fought before, but as much as I like Cobb's as a pick here, I'm just going with Bolton Oway. I just find Bolton Oway this to be booked strong, to be moved as a dark horse, and I think his dark horse run as a Cinderella in this cup could propel him not only to the finals of the New Japan Cup, but as one of those guys that can be said to be one of the next big players in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And because of a run like this, it will elevate Bolton Owei's status as one of those next big players for New Japan. And so that's why I have Bolton Owei going on to the finals of the New Japan Cup, which would leave our Cup finals as Finlay versus Ole. Finlay versus Ole would be good. Again, these two have faced before, with Finlay getting the win over Bolton Ole. Again, this will be a great finals. Again, two different sides of the coin here when you talk about Finlay and Ole. Finlay made the finals in 2023 and lost to Sonata. Finlay, again, probably would have another strong run last year, but due to sickness, couldn't get that moment. But Finlay War God member, Finlay's been eyeing that IWGP World Heavyweight Championship since losing the Global. And with him losing that Global title, I think that's makes him more hungry to try to go for the biggest belt in the company, and would make him even more aggressive, will make him even more want to wrestle more, and bring the punishment to Bolton Ove. But again, you look on the other side of this Bolton Ove is fine with aggression, with very aggressive competitors. As I said, he beats Drilla Maloney in the quarters because of the aggression that Maloney has. Again, he's powerful. His ground game is great, and he can lock you in some good submissions. But I pick David Finlay to win the New Japan Cup this year. I think David Finlay will beat Bolton Ove in the finals of the New Japan Cup, and the big reason why David Finlay will beat Bolton Ove in the finals is due to Finlay's experience in top heavy spotlight moments. Again, Finlay's been a champion. He's been a singles champion. He's been global heavyweight champion. He's been to moments like this before. Of course, 2023 went on to the finals New Japan Cup. Probably went on to the finals again in 2024 if it was not for sickness. He's been on the biggest stages of Wrestle Kingdom. He has fought some of the best that this company's had in the last 5 years. He's won titles at Wrestle Kingdom. He's retained titles at Wrestle Kingdom before, and he's beaten people like Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom. And I think just because of that big name experience, David Finlay beats Bolton Ove in the finals and wins the New Japan Cup 2025 to then go and challenge Hiroki Goto at Secure Genesis for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I don't have predictions on that, as again, I'd rather wait until we see the full card for the New Japan Cup. Or for not New Japan Cup, for that Secure Genesis show. But again, those are my predictions of the New Japan Cup this year. But there's some good people in this that can go on that dark horse runs that you just out of nowhere picks. Again, Yuya Uemura could be one of those guys. Yohei Oiwa. Again, Gabe Kid could be a great pick to win this whole thing. You're making to the finals. Cobb could be a decent pick. ELP could be a fun one. Grail Khan. Again, Grail Khan, even though he bows at the first round, he could be one of those guys that he could be El Phantasmo. If he does, he could go all the way to the finals. That could be huge for his career. Again, Maloney could be another one. Again, TJP, if he hits one of those random strange runs, he can make it to the finals or semis. And same with Takagi. Again, Takagi's always a big name player in Japan. So you never know what could happen with him. But yeah, those are my predictions of New Japan Cup 2025, with David Finlay becoming the winner of this year's Cup. But as the Cup goes on, it's near the end of the run. Of course, I'll talk about it when we get to the finals and how my predictions were when it came to New Japan Cup. So once we hit the semis here, or the finals on March 20th, I'll talk about it more in vain of how my predictions went and where I went wrong. But anyway, that will pretty much end today's little video. I want to make this just for fun, just because of why not. I want to do more with StreamYards, and I think this is a great start of it. But anyway, folks, I hope you did enjoy this little predictions video. My next video probably won't be until this weekend or the week after, when I talk about not talk about on this, but do my final show on WWE 2K24 and finally end the series for the 2024 season. Of course, we'll be back for 2K25, and once that happens, of course, I do more videos on here and other games as well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the predictions here today. If you want to make any predictions down in the comments below, you certainly can. So if you guys ever want to talk about predictions or anything, make sure you put in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Peace out.